to the Drew Sutton Leadership Show, lighting the way with real leaders, real stories, and real impact. Because when leaders stop growing, the darkness wins. All right, welcome to another amazing episode of the Drew Sutton Leadership Show. Today, we're going to be answering the question, what if your LinkedIn content actually generated revenue, not just likes? To talk with us is Xavier Johnson, the founder of Rise and Run Media, where he's managed over $100,000 in paid ads, boosted one client's LinkedIn impressions to 431%, and helped others book FinTech demos for under 50 bucks. He's here to show us how to turn clicks into real revenue without long-term contracts or fluff. Stay tuned to the show. We are going to be talking some tips and tricks when you're hiring a LinkedIn media manager, as well as just how to get it done correctly. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Xavier.
Hey Drew, how you doing, man? Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be on here and first ever podcast, so this would be really cool to dive in with you.
But yeah, I am excited to have you on the show. What I'm super excited about is that I met you at a networking event here locally. And I actually met you in the context of a couple other guys talking about you. That was very cool. So I knew, hey, Xavier's the real deal. I think that media managers and realtors and McDonald's fry operators can sometimes be the same person, but
Yeah.
no, you're the real deal. And so we immediately started working together. So I'm super excited to have you as one of my managers, and super excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think a few mutual connections was like, hey, this is the guy you need to know. He's the top five guy you need to meet in Lexington. So I was like, oh, absolutely, let's dive in. And I plan to continue to see you around and super excited to help on some LinkedIn stuff as well. So
Yeah. So one of the things I love about you is that you're a young guy. You're a young dad. You have a couple of kids. Yeah.
yep, I have
And
two boys.
two boys, and so you are slogging it through toddlerdom
Yes,
and
absolutely.
building a business. It's super exciting to see that. I remember those days for me. My youngest is now 11, and there's a beauty of the older kids, but man, that I know it's hectic. I know there's lots of sleepless nights,
Yeah.
but those young baby days are beautiful days.
Oh, no, you're totally right. It's moments. It's an ebb and flow for me. It's moments where I am working and my son Shiloh comes in. He's like, "Daddy, look at my braids that my wife just did," and that's exciting. And others, it's like in the middle of the night, and he's waking up because he just had whatever he got hot or wanted to take his shirt off or something. It's like, oh man, I could definitely get another hour of sleep. But it's a joy. It reminds me every day why I do what I do, and it's a pretty cool experience. I plan to have more, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, as I tell everyone in this stage, keep practicing. Practice makes perfect.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk. This is a Drew Sutton leadership show. I ask everybody a leadership question. I super love John Maxwell. John Maxwell says that leadership is influence and nothing else. I think that's a great quote for you to get your thoughts on because you are a man of influence. So talk to me about influence and why it's so important to get it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've noticed over my year is relationships are so important to the work that we're doing, regardless if it's an entrepreneur, or if you're just a W-2 employee. People around you are going to watch you and see what you're
Mm,
doing in your day-to life, and they want to see how you carry yourself. And I think if you carry yourself with high integrity, you care for people, you love people well, that's just going to shine a bright light through you and just give people insight on the kind of person that you are, which will lead to that more influence of more people want to be around you, more people want to hear what you have to say, more people want to be friends with you and connect with other people that they know, all because of that word influence and how impactful you can be to others. So I think it's really, really important to dive in at whatever level that looks like for yourself, because you can then just continue to build really good, lasting relationships and see how they go from there.
I love it. All right, let's get into what we promised the folks on the show here, how to make LinkedIn work for you. Now, LinkedIn is a social media. Obviously, we have Facebook for the boomers out there like myself, and then you have Instagram, you have TikTok, but they all have a different personality.
Yeah.
So why should we, as B2B sales, why should we start paying attention to LinkedIn? What do we get out of that you don't get out of the other socials?
Oh man, that's a great question. One of the things that I've realized and what made me really niche down to LinkedIn specifically is I just felt like there was so much noise out there. And as a founder and a professional as myself, there's so many Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, like all these different platforms can be extremely difficult on what I should do, how I should do it, how I should go about it. So I wanted to really dive in on LinkedIn specifically because I'm like, this is a platform that's going to allow me to be able to one, save my time and get very clear and focus on building my own personal brand and allow me to build that thought leadership, which is a word that's tossed around in LinkedIn already, be able to showcase my voice, my messaging, my value proposition to my ideal clients. And also, LinkedIn is super, super powerful on having the tools that you need to be able to get really clear on what and who you want to reach out to. Within job titles, industry specific company sizes, and all that good stuff, so that you can get right in front of the right people and show them that you are here to help them.
Yeah, I love that. I think that LinkedIn, it took me a while to understand LinkedIn. I think that there was a bunch of folks that made LinkedIn feel like it was a me too sort of a movement, like, oh yeah, we're also important. You can do ads on us too.
Yeah.
But so just wipe that away and think about LinkedIn as a thought leadership builder. This is where you get to really shine and get to talk, not so much marketing. I think that the more you are seriously talking about your content and that your thought leadership and your intelligent opinions on things, that is rewarded on LinkedIn. Whereas flash and being able to do the new dance step or being cool with the newest reel on TikTok or Instagram, those are more flash, and I think LinkedIn is the thought leadership sector of the business. I love that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
So how do I become a thought leader?
Yeah, so I think one is you need to get active on LinkedIn. There's no perfect book print or perfect template to follow, but really just getting on LinkedIn and looking at it as your new resume, your new portfolio for if you're looking for jobs or if you're looking for your client. People want to buy from people. People want to buy from
Mm,
stock images no more. So you really just start there, just getting on there, talking in the camera, creating some text posts, and just really just communicating the work that you're doing, but also bringing in your personal life, your personal stories, your personal experiences that got you to where you are. And people resonate with that so much. For myself, I had clients that reached out to me off of a post that I've shared about my boys or a post
mhm.
about my faith. And people reached out to me. It was like, man, I really love that post. I really loved how, you talked about your faith. Like, let's get some coffee. And it's like all from me just sharing the experiences that I have, the perspectives that I have, and that's led to relationships that I'm now either in business with today or just fun mutual referral connections that I have as well.
Okay, so I'm going to speak to so public speaking is the greatest fear that most people have, right?
Oh
Most
yeah.
people, their biggest fear is public speaking. I've never been that way. My parents tell me this story about we went down to the front of the church when I was like 5 years old, and the pastor's like, "Hey, hello everybody," and I grabbed his mic from him, and
Oh wow.
I said hi, and then I gave it back. So public speaking has never been a problem for me. But LinkedIn provides a slightly different intimidation factor, which is I think people don't feel like they have anything to say, or they have something to say, they just don't think people care. And the truth is, people are really interested in that, kind of that Greek archipelago um, or Greek Acropolis like dialogue. How do I prep so that I can start getting involved in that dialogue on the show or on the platform on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think really just on the platform specifically, it gives you an opportunity to be able to see what other people are doing, which is good. And two, it allows you to be able to understand that most people on this platform are professionals. Most people
Mhm.
are looking for solutions to their problems. Most people are looking for people that they can connect with in business or just be able to have good friends and colleagues that are also professionals in the space. And when you see that, you get on the platform, notice like everyone's trying to put their best foot forward. Everyone's trying to get on the platform and use it to be able to benefit them in some way. It gives you this kind of grace to know, like, I don't need to be perfect on the way that I approach this platform. I just be able to find a way to be able to clearly communicate myself in a way that's authentic and real compared to some of the other platforms that you're seeing people just recreating trends, recreating ideas that they're already seeing. And LinkedIn allows you to be able to just like, hey, this is me. This is what you're going to get from me. And there's no faking. This is authentic. This is very authentic, the version that I am. And I hope that it helps you and serves you as best as I portray it to be.
So I've started using your services. So full disclosure, I'm actually paying Xavier, and he's on the show here. So um, I really like your process. You came to my house and you helped me work through my thought leadership. And so you guys, for the audience that's watching, you're going to be seeing that kind of show up here in the next month or so.
Yeah.
But walk me through really quickly your process, because I think we looked at LinkedIn. We know we need to be active.
Mhm.
We're like, oh, I need to be active here on LinkedIn. Um, how do I begin to structure my thought leadership strategy? So, and you've got a great process for that. I've super enjoyed participating in that and us riffing on ways that you can improve that.
Yeah.
Um, so, talk us through really quick at high level. How should I think through my thought leadership strategy?
Yeah, I think thank you so much again for bringing me on. I'm really excited to help you. You're a really great influence in Lexington, so there's going to be a lot of good synergy with the work that we're doing. Really, I think the idea is to first start with my idea is just getting you on camera. And I want you to
Mhm.
talk at the camera. So I'm going to create these prompts that are not just like generated like 3 steps here, 4 steps here, tips and tricks, but really just to get you to start to communicate and start to get that flow of your voice that's authentic to you. And I'll create that as a video, but I'll also transcribe it and use that to also build other posts as well that allows you to be able to start to build that thought leadership on top of the content that we are creating produce. And for most of my clients, I walk them through, we have an awareness phase, we have a traffic and leads phase, and then we have a sales phase. And for most of the people that I bring on, they're still in that awareness or that traffic and lead stage. We really just got to teach people who you are, what your value proposition is, and add those links and those call to actions on those posts. And that's what's going to get into the traffic and lead stages of the phase of the process. But really on that awareness, that's exactly how we capture that with that content. And then we just schedule it out and it goes from there.
So I can't understate the value that this is. I know that if you've been in B2B, if you're a thought leader, if you're trying to make sales B2B wise, you sit there and you look at that blank screen and it's like a version of writer's block. And you're like, I can do so many things. How do I communicate that to the people? And then in what order do I communicate that? And it's so helpful to have somebody, a professional like Xavier, show up and help you think through and structure, because this is what he does. You're the expert, but
Yep.
Xavier helps you pull that expertise out and put it into a logical flow and a time based flow. So what I have 15-year-old boys right now, which means two things. One, it's a new cardio program. I'm teaching my boys to drive, so
Yeah.
my heart rate gets spiked all the time.
Yeah.
But I get to talk to them. I said, listen, the battle map of your life is your schedule, is your calendar. Figuring out how the times to do things in is how you go from an idea to actual execution. Scheduling it on a calendar, and Xavier is a great partner for that, to help you get your thought leadership organized so that it can be flowed out in a calendar properly. All right,
Yeah.
so you need a social media manager, specifically a thought leadership manager like Xavier. What Give us some tips. Obviously everybody should go with you. But if somebody has internal help that's like kind of managing their social media calendar, or maybe they've hired another consultant, what are some like red flags and green flags to identify a great social media manager?
Yeah, I'll start with some of the red flags that I've seen. I think one, as a social media manager, we put a lot of expectations on them. I was also a social media manager in some of my past roles, and managing a lot of different platforms can be very, very overwhelming. And as we're in an attention economy now, and the platforms on Instagram and Facebook has transitioned to not so much more social media, but interest media now, the way to go about creating content on that platforms can get very, very repetitive and very tricky. And I think as a social media manager, that can be very, very hard to be able to execute. Now, it can get you to the goals and the desires that you want if you hire and pay a lot of money for that very high level agency that's very good at what they're doing and their processes and their systems. But for the one of the red flags that I would see is just someone just being very overwhelmed and very disorganized.
Mm,
That can be very, very tricky to really just execute the work that you're doing. Another one that I can see is if the initial posts and the creatives that they're putting out, if it's not consistent, if it's not getting some form of level of an engagement and eyes on your platform, then that's another red flag as well. Like, are we creating content that's actually getting eyes, engagement on the work that we're putting out? And then from there, I'll transition over to the green the green flags. Some of the good things that a social media manager can do for you is save you a ton of time. Can save you a lot of time of not having to worry about someone's going to be on my social media, someone's going to be commenting back to people, someone's going to be creating the content for me, scheduling it out, and then one, they're being able to help you be essentially, this is where I like to say this content is being your 24-hour salesperson. So even when you're sleeping, your posts are going out there for you. They're being scheduled out. A social media manager, at least a good social media manager, will be making sure that content gets out there that communicates your value proposition in a way that's authentic and it gets more eyes on you so that you can help more people. So that was how I'll briefly go through those two things.
Yeah, I love it. Red flags and green flags, great things to watch there.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you're saying is that you need to be focused. So social media manager is too big of a title. And I know that you were a social media manager and you necked down and you said, no, where my real value here is on thought leadership. How can I help high value people articulate their thoughts clearly and then get that onto LinkedIn? Because that's where thought leadership is most important and most valuable. So having a social media manager that is focused and niche down to the particular type that's getting you money, as they say, riches are in the niches.
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely. No, I totally agree. It's one of the things that in my own personal experience being a social media manager, I was taking on a lot of different work. I was doing a lot of different platforms, just a lot of different creative concepts for a lot of my clients. And I felt like, okay, this is not as consistent as I was like it to be. And even I can branch out and grow more in bigger teams and et cetera to really help me. But I felt like the deeper value that I really wanted to give to my clients, I couldn't give it to them on other platforms compared to LinkedIn, when you can directly see, the value that the platform's added back to you. Because all the connections and eyeballs that you're seeing on LinkedIn, eventually that's going to turn into in-person coffee meetings, lunch meetings with people that
Mhm.
is in your local community that could be very, very valuable. As we know in business, relationships are so important. And LinkedIn is like that direct relationship builder for any professional that's trying to grow in that way.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes of all time is Billy the Kid. They said, "Hey man, why did you rob the banks?" And Billy the Kid said, "Because that's where the money's at."
Where the money's
So
at. Yeah.
LinkedIn is where all of your business professionals, that's the social media where the money's at. Now
Yep.
you're doing B2C, you're trying to get likes on TikTok or Instagram. There is a play there. I'm not saying there's not a play. But
Right.
if you're in the B2B space, LinkedIn, it's where the money's at. I love it.
Yeah. Their literally tagline for LinkedIn is it's the place to B2B. So
It's the place to B2B.
the place to B2B is literally if you're in the B2B space, you're a professional, or if you're a brand, you have a company, tax accountants, CPAs, financial advisors, leadership coach, consultants, marketing agencies, all those kind of people. If you're a professional, you can get a lot of value from the platform and in a lot of different ways, essentially. So it's a great platform to be on. And if you're not on it, I advise you just get on there right now, and I'll be open to having a conversation to talk you through what that looks like, how I can help point you in the right direction. I'm always open for a coffee or lunch and just hang out and meet other professionals that is trying to figure out how they can grow their businesses.
So speaking of value, you said we promised three mistakes that everybody's making on LinkedIn. You said you're not active. So get on there just to get experience with the site, start paying attention to the thought leadership that's occurring and figuring out how that can help you. Actually, I know that um, I recently hired an infographics coach because I know that that's a great way for my particular brand of thought leadership. But what's the value proposition you're offering your audience? So how do you help people generate value proposition or to clarify the value proposition they have so that they can be a success and attract the right people?
Yeah, I think one is the biggest thing for a B2B professional, saving that time. They know they need to grow their business, but they don't have the time to really dive into this specific platform and to really execute it. I would say most professionals know they should be on LinkedIn. They just don't know exactly how to get on the platform and what did that go. How to go about it, and that's where I come in. I have some LinkedIn certifications. I've managed over $100,000 on ad spend. I'm currently running ads for clients right now, currently on LinkedIn, and me with all the insights that I know on like what's working on LinkedIn, what's not working on LinkedIn helps me be able to figure out for someone specifically their brand, how can we use this platform to execute for them. Now, you may see even if you get on LinkedIn, there's a lot of people that chase vanity metrics, likes, shares, comments, engagements, and all that kind of stuff. Those things are good. I'm not saying those are not good.
Right.
Those things are really, really good to be able to see what you're doing is resonating. But the real value that comes from LinkedIn is the in-person meetings that you can get. I have a process that I follow for my clients that I tell them to execute when it comes to those connection requests that we're sending out that directly leads into actual real life conversations. And that will be the value that you're getting so that now I can save so much of my time. I don't have to be on LinkedIn. I don't have to necessarily post on LinkedIn. I have a guy that's executing this work for me. And I just see my calendar being able to fill up and the opportunities within my LinkedIn DM of people that actually are interested in wanting to talk to me about my services or just to connect in that way instead of it just being these ongoing spammy salesy emails and messages that we get on LinkedIn already. So that'll be the
Oh,
main value that I would say is like just the way and the approach that we go about it that does not portray you as a salesy person or portrays you as someone that's just looking for a dollar, but just extending that value of, I'm here to help. I'm just here to connect with other, connections. And there's some specific ways that I go about how to do that.
I love that. I was my favorite networking experience of all time, and I think I've told this story a number of times on the show. We're standing in a group of people. We're at this like kind of the local chamber of commerce event, and a guy walks up with with his business card, and he just sticks it in my shirt pocket like a mailbox, just like chunk, 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 chunk. He put it into all five of us, and then he's like, "Hi, I don't remember his name, Paul, and I do a paintball field here." And I was
Yeah,
just like, "Oh, this is my favorite networking moment ever because it is so quintessentially like it is a
yeah,
stereotype of the opposite of what you want to do." It was like
yep,
I it's just my favorite moment ever because it was just so
yeah.
outlandish.
Oh
But then
wow,
but you talk about that on LinkedIn, right? There is a version of that on LinkedIn. That's like when I send you a connection request that has like a 4 paragraph email
yep,
sales letter, right? The first time I touch you.
yep,
Yeah, I love what you're saying though. You're saying that LinkedIn is supposed to lead to meetings. I think
yes,
that Facebook, maybe you DM me and maybe you buy my e-commerce thing, maybe you like my thing on Instagram, but there's really not a drive towards personal connection on those other socials. But on LinkedIn, B2B sales, um, you're driving to a coffee meeting. You're
yep,
driving to and not a sales meeting necessarily. You're driving to a relationship that's eyeball to eyeball. I think
absolutely.
it's so cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I totally agree, man. To add to that, I get, a lot of pitchy DMs all the time as a marketer myself. Like I can generate 60 leads for you in a month. And I'm like, even if I was interested in it, you know, the way that you went about it is like, I don't want you to do that for my brand. I don't want you to
right.
send, 100,000 emails out to people that would maybe want to work with me or not. As marketers, we say the same thing all the time about, it's like a date. On the first date, do you ask the girl that you want to marry them? No, you want to be able to nurture that relationship. And that's the same thing that, how I go about approaching on LinkedIn. It's all about nurturing those relationships. When these people see that you're showing up consistent, adding value, adding resources on the platform, showing the work that you're doing, showing how plugged in you are into your community, speaking engagements, panelists, all that good stuff. It makes them, when they do reach out and they see that you're also connected with mutual connections of theirs, it's so much more open to be like, hey, I would love to connect. Let's get some coffee. And then from there, it always builds up from there. So, yeah, man.
Yeah. No, I love it. Okay, so now we've talked about how to build thought leadership. We've talked about being active. We've talked about what not to do and what to do to kind of bring people. But we still haven't answered the big question. This is the $1 million question. My favorite thing in the world is when somebody gives me a book that says, "This is how you make $1 million. Start with $999,000 and invest it in the stock market." Well, that's not the magic is the $999,000. What am I supposed
Yeah.
And they say, "Well, don't worry. My second book is to teach you how to make
Oh my
$999,000."
goodness, yes.
Right? And we get that so many times of people selling the fluff, selling the obvious and holding that magic back.
Yep.
Here's the magic in LinkedIn. How do I find my ideal client?
Oh man, this is so good. I think LinkedIn has this powerful tool called Sales Navigator, and it can be very
Mm,
complicated if you'd have never used it before. But on this platform, it allows you to get very, very specific on who you're trying to find. You can look up real estate agents in Lexington, Kentucky, and it'll give you every real estate agent that's in Lexington, Kentucky. You can say, I'm looking for people within the University of Kentucky. You'll find everybody that works at the University of Kentucky. You can look for specific industries, marketing services, commercial, construction, and it'll list everybody out there. And then
yeah.
another tag to that is like you could do job titles. So for one of my clients, they're looking for operation directors, warehouse managers, facility managers. I can plug that into Sales Navigator and just say, I'm looking for these specific people and job titles in Lexington, Louisville, Ohio, or I could just do Kentucky, the whole state, and it'll list everybody on there that has warehouse manager in their job description. And that allows me to be able to, one, find my ideal client to be able to connect with, which is great, right? You have now more opportunities to connect and build relationships. And two, if you have the budget to run ads, you essentially can build a list, an account-based marketing list, where you can add those people, name, LinkedIn URL, and that's all you need to create a company list or a profile, personal list on LinkedIn, and you can run ads to those people as well to, again, nurture them. So like they see a connection request from you, they see an ad from you. It's just those different touch points that just add a lot of value. And on that platform specifically, Sales Navigator, I recommend everybody getting on there and just looking through how it can change your life, change your business, and help you be able to meet more people.
So actually, I'm gonna slightly disagree with you here because I'm getting exhausted just thinking through the activity you're describing. That's a
Yeah,
lot of work.
yeah,
You need to be aware of it, but I think you need to hire somebody like Xavier to do that work
yeah.
because it's a generating leads and following up with leads, especially through Sales Navigator. It automates it. It's going to get you high value leads, but it's an activity. And I think that it makes more sense. One of my favorite books of all time, I think you can barely see it, Buy Back Your Time.
Mhm.
It is so much cheaper to hire somebody that's an expert at Sales Navigator. It's the same way, like if you have an IT system at your work, you're probably not the administrator of your IT system. You probably hire an MSP or an IT manager to run that part. It is critical to your business. If you're not doing it, you're going to be falling apart. But that's not the right thing for you as the founder, the owner, the runner of the company. You need somebody that can is very familiar with how to make Sales Navigator dance. And I think Xavier is a great example of somebody that can do that for you.
Oh, I totally agree. The biggest thing that I save a lot of my clients is that time. They come to me, I know I need to be on LinkedIn. I just don't have the time for it. And I'd rather hire someone that can do it. You're going to save me time and you're actually going to give me results. And that's the whole idea here is like, I'm being going to be able to come in and execute this for you and just give you this alley hoop of like at the end of the month, bi-weekly. Hey, these are all the new connections that you have, of people that we send messages to that you can build these coffee meetings with and connect with these people in person. And it's just so much more value driven to know there's someone that's out there that is handling the direct pipeline generation in my business that's just not creating fluffy content and making me do trendy reels and all that kind of stuff, which is still good. I'm not knocking those things. But it's someone that's directly tied to pipeline and opportunities. I think that's really good to have someone doing that for you.
I love it. Okay, so we've talked a lot of theory here. We've talked 3 tips. You got to be active. You got to let's hear it. We had thought leadership. You got to be active. You got to know your value proposition and articulate that. And now we've just discussed how do you find the right people, which of course is Sales Navigator and somebody that knows how to make Sales Navigator dance. Um, Tell me a story though. Tell me. So we've talked theory. Talked about some of your clients that you've actually been able to make a difference for. I know that you
Yeah.
4x'd the impressions for one of your clients, and if you go to his website, you'll see all sorts of testimonials
Yeah.
about people that love his service. But tell me your favorite story about a client that you've helped before and after.
Yeah, so I had this software company come reach out to me. I knew their vice president of sales through other mutual connections, and he said that, I know we need to be on LinkedIn because that's where our ideal client is. I just don't know exactly how to go about it. And they
Mm,
are a software company that pretty much works with a lot of RIAs, registered uh, advisory firms essentially, and they want to be able to find these advisory firms and help show them what their app can do. Their app pretty much bridges the gap from client to prospect within the communication, and they handle all the compliance and all that good stuff. They integrated AI, amazing platform that they have built. And one of the cool things that I've been able to have with them is when they came on to me, we was doing their LinkedIn organic on their company page. Their founder was already building his own thought leadership already on the platform. He was creating content. He does speaking engagements and all the good stuff. And I also run ads for them as well. So what I did was I took some of the thought leadership posts that he was already creating on LinkedIn and ran them as thought leader ads on LinkedIn. And the
mm,
cool thing about that is it's not charging you for website visits. It's not charging you for reach. What it is trying to get engagements. So if you're doing your targeting right, it would actually make sure that you're getting engagements from those people. And the little hack to that is in the copy, if you just add your landing page or your booking calendar, you'll get very cheap cost per clicks on people actually clicking on that. And now imagine you're getting this person is getting ads from the company page, and now they're getting ads from the founder as well. So you just nurture these people through. So then when they see this founder talking to them directly, they're going to click that link and just book. And that's exactly how I was able to get some FinTech book demos as low as $50. And even now we're seeing some as low as $35 where we're at this month, all
Oh,
because
wow.
that exact strategy. And their client values are at least starting at 18 grand plus a year. So it's extremely great ROI, and Mick's a great
Holy
friend of
mackerel.
mine's, and it's a huge deal. It's a big deal, and it's super cool to be able to be one of the small parts of helping them grow on LinkedIn. And they have an amazing team, and it's pretty cool.
So here's what I love about that story. First of all, $30 an active lead for an $18,000 service is fantastic.
Yeah,
Um, but you have these thought leaders because and I know you personally. You actually you do work for me. You only work with folks that are the real deal. So you're not just like, you're not just slapping your system on anybody that will pay you. You care about the people that you're promoting. So here you have a thought leader who's already amazing at what they do, and they have an amazing service that legitimately helps. And you're able to take that organic work they're doing and then to supercharge that so that it's getting the impact it really needs to. The truth of the matter is, I'm good at what I do. I do leadership, I do culture consulting, I help people with change management, I help people get their teams running like a professional sports team. That's easy. That's what I do. I'm not great at LinkedIn. I'm not great at social. That's not what I do. So that's not what I should do. I should
absolutely.
partner with a friend like you that can take my thought leadership and move it into the stratosphere where it needs to be. Because as we said at the beginning of the show, if we don't do it, the darkness wins. It's our job to bring the light and the heat to the world.
Yeah.
And so having a partner like you is a great chance. Well, we're kind of running out of time here on the show. I'm going to give you the floor for 2 or 3 minutes. Just talk to the audience, tell us what we need to know about LinkedIn, about you, and then we will close ourselves out.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, LinkedIn is the place to be. If you are a B2B brand, if you're a B2B professional, LinkedIn is the platform that you want to jump on and really just dive in and figure out exactly how you could communicate your value proposition. There's a lot of different things you'll see on the platform that's like, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. Essentially, I think you should just get on that platform, look what's already out there, connect with your friends, colleagues, and et cetera, and just start figuring out a way that you can tie in your personal life, your personal story to the work that you're doing and starting there. You do that, you connect with your ICP, find those people, connect with them. You'll start to see some great results from being able to build some relationships and just stay consistent after that. And if you need someone like myself, a professional to come in and give you some pointers, look at your account, help you optimize in a way that makes sure that it just sounds like you, sounds like the value that you drive, I'm more than open to be able to sit down over coffee and just help point you in the right direction or give you some insights for free, of course. So, yeah, I'm excited to see you all on LinkedIn, and I hope that you all connect with me as well. And I'll be able to be a good light to you all in the LinkedIn world. So,
I love it. Listen, Xavier is being too modest. He's a young man who is crushing it in his field. He is having a meteoric rise. If you're a thought leader and you're saying to yourself, you know what, for the price of a VA, I could have a team that pushes my thought leadership into the next world. I know that what I'm doing, the world needs, and I just can't figure out how to get traction. Xavier's your man. He's working for me. He's worked for my friends. I can tell you he does an amazing job. I'm already just over the moon with how he's helped get stuff out of my head and onto film. And then I know that it's going to go from there and start being broadcast to the world. So if you're a thought leader, if you have a service that people need, and if you don't, maybe we have a different conversation. If you have a service that people legitimately need and you don't know how to make LinkedIn dance for you, reach out to Xavier Johnson. Tell him you saw him on the Drew Sutton Leadership Show. I've thrown some links in the comment that you'll love. There's a free assessment for you, as well as he has a special deal for you when you talk to him. So tell him you saw him on the Drew Sutton Leadership Show. And with that, we are out.